Hello everybody. All right, so for today's video for Blue Night Rubber Stamps, we're going to be coloring in this covered bridge. Very nice image. We have quite a few covered bridges around where I live. They always look great, you know, because I'm a fisherman, so I love seeing the little creek going underneath. But especially this time of year when the leaves are changing colors, it's so nice. The only thing that sucks about them, and most of them are one lane, so you just have to make sure nobody's coming around the other side before you go through. But thought this would be a pretty easy image for us to color, so let's get into it. So I already have it mounted in my mini Misty, and because this is a red rubber clean mount stamp, I took out the foam, and I think I'll be using some alcohol markers today. So I'm going to be using the Finesse Spectrum Noir Nor Black ink to ink this up. And if anybody knows when they're going to sell a refill for this ink, let me know, because I'm pretty sure I need it already. Okay, so probably going to have to stamp this down a couple times. I am also using the Spectrum Noir premium alcohol paper as well. I will link that for you as well. I will link everything in the description for you. I'm not using magnets. I have my little Ranger sticky back paper back there. Oh, that came out pretty good first time around. I'm going to do a little bit more in the center here. I want that to be nice and black. Wow, okay, I think we're good. That looks great. All right, so clean my stamp off. Very easy to put that back on its backing, and then it goes in my little stamp basket, and it's ready to go. So away. All right, so I'm going to keep my image off to the side here just to reference back to. I have my Arteza blend, what are these called? Everblend, sorry. Everblend markers, which are alcohol markers. If I have to dip into my Copics or my Spectrum Noir, I have those as well. But these are just off to the side here. Very easy to get to. And I think I'll just go right into it, right? So I think I want to do a nice fall scene here. I like the bullet point on these when I'm coloring smaller images like this, because it's really easy to get into them. And I'm really gonna make this, to me, it looks like a fall scene. Like, looks like everything's pretty much dried up, ready for some winter. That one was called Sunflower Yellow, by the way. Some yellow ochre. I wonder if you guys can see a little better there. Just have to remember to stay in frame. So, you know, everybody's going to be preparing for Thanksgiving activities and so on. I know it's not that far away. And Thanksgiving was always the holiday that I kind of forced my dad to cook. He always like protested it, but I think he secretly loved it. So it was always the holiday that, you know, Dad got up at 4 o'clock in the morning and started making that turkey, and it had to be a butterball turkey. It couldn't be anything else. And, you know, I think I did attempt to make a turkey one year and it came out okay, but I'm not a huge turkey fan. I just think it's a little dry. You know, I don't mind it so much on sandwiches and leftovers and things like that, as long as it's slathered in gravy, mashed potatoes, and all that stuff. But yeah, so Thanksgiving reminds me a lot of my dad, and so there's a lot of memories tied around that. So I pretty much have boycotted Thanksgiving since he's passed. And my son stays with his father, so it's usually just Leah and I. And my mom has said she's going to work this year. Now, my sister, if she's going to cook, she'll usually invite us over, but she normally gets invited over to her in-laws, and so on. So, Leah and I started a new tradition. The last couple years, we have gone to Cracker Barrel. And it's just become this tradition between her and I where, you know, we go to Cracker Barrel, and they have a nice Thanksgiving meal set up where I don't have to slave over the hot stove or anything like that. And we just really enjoy it, actually, and we look forward to it. So, I wasn't sure what my mom was going to do this year, and I was like, just so you know, Mom, not cooking a turkey this year. I don't do Thanksgiving. And she said, well, I'm going to work because they pay, you know, overtime for working. And I said, well, that's great because I'm not cooking. Leah and I go to Cracker Barrel. And she's like, oh, that's a good idea. I really thought she was going to scold me and, like, read me the riot act. But, you know, Leah and I have been talking about it this week, like, can't wait to go to our Cracker Barrel Thanksgiving. So, yeah, that's our new thing, our new tradition. Now, it may change later in the future, but for right now, this is our thing. Now, Christmas is a different story. I go all out and make Christmas, and everybody knows that. So, for Christmas, everybody comes to my house, and I cook, and I make this corn pudding recipe, which I learned a few years back, and everybody calls it, like, corn pie crack because it's super sweet. It's very good. And everybody's always like, what is that? And what is the recipe? So, yeah, anybody that comes to my house loves the corn pudding. So, Christmas is always a big thing. We always usually do a honey baked ham for Christmas as well. And then Leah and I have birthdays in January. Our birthdays are a week apart. So I haven't decided what we're going to do this year because normally her birthday gets iced out. But I was thinking maybe I'll take her to New York City this year. We're about an hour and a half outside of New York City. And her and I will go see Frozen on Broadway. But we'll see. I don't know if she still might be too young for that and may not appreciate it. I don't know yet. We're just kind of probably going to wing it and see how we do. So I'm just coloring these leaves. A couple of different fall colors here. So I've used yellow ochre. The green was called olive green. The brown was called hazelnut brown. And the red was, I believe, burgundy. It was either burgundy or wine red, one of those two. So we've done that. I want to paint our bridge. I keep saying paint. Color our bridge. And I think for the bridge, we're going to go in with this wine red, which is a nice dark red. And again, I cannot state enough how much I love Blue Night rubber stamps. Their illustrations make it very easy to color. In fact, I'm going to flip over to the chisel side here. Because the artist has already taken and added the shading that we need or highlights that we need. And all we have to do is just take our coloring medium and fill it in. So whether you want to use watercolors or regular markers or colored pencils or pan pastels, all of these mediums work well with these illustrations because of the artists that they have chosen to make these stamps. It's just so easy. All right, so I think I'm going to go back to the bullet point here. Now that we're getting into some finer details of our little covered bridge here. Hoping I'm not putting my head in the way. I'm trying to be very conscious of where that camera is and not stick my head in there as I'm coloring. Okay, so I think that's pretty good. Now they have this inside as red, but I don't think I want to color that red. I'm going to leave that alone for a second. All right, I think we should do our trees. Mocha brown. Now I am using 2 sets of colors here from the Arteza Everblend set. So I have the 60 colors, and then I also have the additional 36 color of portrait tones, which gives you a lot of browns and pinks. So I have these kind of mixed up together. So if you don't see them in your 60, don't get discouraged. Oop, I didn't mean to do the brown in there. But don't get discouraged. You know, that you have use what you have. You have Copic markers, you have Spectrum Noir markers, again, color pencils, things like that. All right, so I'm gonna go in with the chisel side and just do, whoops, the whole inside of my bridge here in this brown. It's not what I wanted to do, but we're gonna go with it. Do our window frames that way too. A couple of years ago I took pictures of Leah and well, the babysitter actually took pictures. At the time she was a photographer on the side, and she took pictures of Leah and her son, who is I think 2 years younger than Leah, and we went to this covered bridge and they gave each other little smooches, little pecks on the cheek, and it was so cute. And the covered bridge was actually painted white, so it looked very rustic, very cool. All right, originally I was going to do the tree in this, so we're going to go back and do the tree. And I'm just doing light sprigs of color here. And I will go in and fill it in with some more color later. Right now I'm just going to roughly put this in. The same for this tree. Oh, you know what? I have a little heater on under my desk, keeping my feet warm, and I didn't realize you guys can probably hear that, so I just turned that off. Sorry. And that one was called Mocha Brown. This is Coffee Brown, which is a little darker, so we're going to be a little light-handed with this brown just because it is darker. Okay. I want more of a medium brown. Caramel brown. That should be a good color to blend them all in with. There we go. I'm going to go to our chisel tip. Okay, I'm going to use that same brown and do this kind of, looks like they put wood boards over the stones here. Windows here. Sienna brown. We're going to color the outside of our bridge this color. Go in with some grays and do some of our stonework here. This is called koala gray, and just going to kind of do the inside of our stones here. Like I said, they already have a lot of that shading already there, so this isn't going to take very much. Not being very neat about it, just putting some color down. And we're going to take this cloudy gray and fill it in. Go back in with that koala gray, do the roof, and again in with the cloudy gray and fill it in. So I imagine all of this greenery back here is kind of like going to be not so green and brown and things like that. Mix some of our little bridge back here. So this is called Jasmine Yellow. You know, like dried up leaves and greenery and things like that. They're getting a little crispy and yellowy and brown and green, things like that. Or at least that's how I imagine it. You could easily make this a spring scene and make everything nice and vibrant and green if you wanted to. All right, we need a little bit of sky. That's too much sky. I think I made that mistake before. There we go. Okay, this is called Glacier Blue, and I am just going to very sloppily color over everything that's already here. Going to kind of mute down our tones a little bit, but also fill in the sky. It's a very light bluish gray color. I kind of like that. Again, not being a great artist here, just filling some stuff in. Now we need our little path here, which I'm going to, again, imagine that it is some gravel. So we're going to go in with our cloudy gray and fill in some of those darker spots. And our koala gray and fill in some of those even darker spots just on the edges here. Okay. And then I have this light gray, which is called fog gray. It's a perfect color gray to blend those up. All right, I think that finishes up our covered bridge. This is called Lime Froth Green. And I think like a sage green. Here we go. This is called Green Tea. I'll sprinkle some of this in there. I'm just dotting that in. So we have some yellows and greens, still very dry looking. Again, with this tree, it's just, this area is just waiting for the winter snow. So there we go, guys. Really easy to color. Again, this is called the Covered Bridge. This is from Blue Night Rubber Stamps. I will link that for you guys. And really easy to color, really simple to color. Just colored it in with some alcohol markers, but very easy to do. This would make a great masculine card. This will make a great fall card, thinking of you card, sympathy card. I mean, really anything you want to put your sentiment on there will work for this card. If you have any questions, post them down below. Again, I will link everything that I used for you guys. If you like this video, I appreciate your thumbs up. Thanks for watching and keep on stamping. Bye-bye.